Can you get me the dolphin sound? I will continue to argue this with you guys for as long as you'd like to argue it, but I do want to get to what's happening with the Dolphins because it's interesting, because, of course, they're seen as done again, as we could have said at 0-3. As you can say, 6 games in, there will be no bouncing back from this when you lose games like the one they lost yesterday, where you get the Tua comeback. Like, this is all going to get lost in the press conference. It really is. But to beat that Chargers team, and someone Zaz is saying is the greatest coach of all time, better than Belichick because he can win on any level, you got exactly what you needed at the end of that game. Those Chargers were tired in this South Florida heat. They had no pass rush left. That team was done. You finished them. Tua had the play you needed to have to Waller in the back of the end zone. The game is won. All you've got to do is make a tackle. You could choose which one you'd like to make. You can make it of Herbert or you can make it of McConkey, but all you have to do is make one tackle. And neither of you can do it because now for this season, you guys are losers. Like, you're going to be losers all season. There's no bouncing back from this. And as the flames climb, the quarterback's at the press conference saying, well, it's not me who doesn't care. It's not me who's not showing up to the meetings. The problem's with leadership, but it's not me. We had a players-only meeting, and this is what happened.
I think it starts with the leadership in helping articulate that for the guys, and then what we're expecting out of the guys, right? We're expecting this. Are we getting that? Are we not getting that? We have guys showing up to player-only meetings late, guys not showing up to player-only meetings. Like, there's a lot that goes into that. Do we have to make this mandatory? Do we not have to make this mandatory? It's a lot of things of that nature.
To be clear, you're saying some players were late or missed?
Late, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you mandate a players-only meeting?
Apparently
Who's in charge?
not.
Who's in charge of a players-only meeting, Dad? Who? If you, like, let's just talk this out.
Well, who's the captain of the team? Who are the captains of the team?
That's a great question.
And by default, let's say the team had no captains. Your default captain is your starting quarterback.
Zagak.
Like, I don't mind that Tua said what he said.
He's ripping himself.
He's ripping the entire
It'd be funny
culture.
if he was the one that was late.
They're supposed to.
Well, there were tweets of players that said, like, I was on the Dolphins for 3 minutes, which wasn't a very long time, but Tua was late to the first players-only meeting, the only one I was part of in training camp. So it seems as though we might be leading by example if we're to believe that that's a real person. But Tua's a team captain. Alec Ingold, Zach Sealer, Bradley Chubb, Aaron Brewer, and Jordan Brooks are the team captains this season for the Dolphins.
Okay.
So when he's saying that leadership is failing and then points out a players-only meeting, he would be the leadership in that situation, which is failing, which is not a good thing for him to be pointing out. And I've said before that I think he needs lie serum because he's a little bit too honest, and he's comfortable in his honesty, but it's not doing him any favors because I think that, as the season's gone on, we know this is probably going to be it for Mike McDaniel. It definitely should be it for Chris Greer. But now, anyone who was kind of a Tua defender was like, well, let's see what Tua is with new coach. And now you're like, this guy is also not working. Not that there were many people that still were saying he was working, but I don't know how you can get rid of him if you even wanted to, but it seems like they need to completely clean house.
Tua said last week, and he made news for just being like, I'm actually in a decent mindset right now because I'm not on social media. I go home, and my kids are still happy to see me. I would argue that we should show his kids that interception on that last play of the game. They need to see it. They deserve to see it.
Wait, this is going to happen to Tua today? Greg, let's see where your homer is on this because this is going to happen to Tua today because it's 3 interceptions. He won the game, people. The interception's on Waddle, the first one. The third one's irrelevant. You've coughed up the game he just won for you, and he threw a pick. But also, 27 at home should be enough to beat those Chargers. 27 at home with 2 game-winning drives where the pass rush can't get near you and you're thrown to Waller in the back of the end zone. He won the game. The game was won, and then it wasn't won because you've got all the advantages at the end of the game. Make a tackle. Make a tackle. You've got the quarterback. You've got Herbert in your hands. Jalen Phillips, you're the king of almost.
It starts before they miss that tackle. It starts before Jalen Phillips missed the sack. It starts before the pass to McConkey. It starts with the special teams allowing a long kickoff return. Okay, here you're facing a Chargers place kicker who's got all kind of length on his game. He can kick a 60-yard field goal, and you're giving up a kickoff return past the 40-yard line. They did everything wrong. The special teams lost that game. the defense lost that game. Tua, I'm glad you mentioned that. Tua, on what should have been the heroic game-winning drive, did everything right. He was as good as I've seen him on that drive. He was 8 for 8 for 57 yards. He gave them a lead with 46 seconds
with
left.
a very limited offense against a very good defense
Yes.
that was gutted. It was gassed.
Right. If the special teams and the defense finish that game, we're having a whole different conversation about Tua right now, and he doesn't say what he says in the post-game
I'll go a
press
step
conference.
further. I'll go a step further than that. If the apocalypse that somehow never happens in that sport, and I don't get why this never happens, Dicker is insane, okay? The stat that he's 100 from he is 100 of 106, and 5 of the misses are from 50 plus. That snap was terrible to win the game, like terrible. What the holder did, and I don't even know who the holder is, was rescued the game. Like that's as bad a snap as you will ever see on, and no one remembers it. And if that snap had been botched, none of this comes to the surface. We never see any of it. The game's over right there, and Tua did win the game.
Yeah, and he's the hero today. All of a sudden, we're saying, you know what? Tua's 3-1 head-to-head now with Justin Herbert. Who is better? And
I don't know how that holder got it down.
Yeah, it was high and inside.
Well, this is 2 weeks in a row that Tua's had a game-winning drive that didn't actually win the game because then the defense came and immediately gave up the lead.
Yes.
I also don't understand, though, like Tua's complaints and the thing. I don't know what a players-only meeting would have done to, like, teach them to tackle on the last drive that would have won them that game.
But it does sound like it speaks to a larger issue, which was kind of hovering around this team over the offseason, which was reshaping the culture.
Right.
Now, Tyreek Hill is away from the team because he's injured. You still have this culture problem. I think you guys did a really great job at framing that this is not all Tua's fault. Tua had some moments. That is a disastrous clip from your leader, from your quarterback. I don't know what's worse, the fact that he's putting that business out there or the fact that it actually happened. I don't know if that feels like a last resort leadership move
you guys,
to snitch on people that way.
Oh, but it's not even that, though. Like, this is the apocalypse, right? They could have denied, like Cody, for 4 or 5 games. Oh, well, we're still in it. It was almost against Carolina. We look good against the Jets, whatever the arguments would be on behalf of the structure of this thing that is clearly dying, right? Like we've been saying for a month, it's all over. This is the longest tenure a GM has ever had without a playoff game. There's no playoff win. Without a playoff win, there's not a GM in the league who has had more time and done less with playoff victories than Chris Greer. So, worst in the league when you're talking about spending like $900 million in free agents, 21 first and second round picks. And what you have to show for it, a player like Jalen Phillips could have won the game for you. And now the Flames are climbing so high on everyone that Tua got his money, but he's got no protection on his career anymore. Like these two people are clearly gone, and he gave you the game-winning drive. Like we don't have a lot of those to remember. We don't have any against winning teams. Like the reason this thing is broken, they can't beat anyone good. They're like 1-15 the last 16 games against teams with a winning record.
Yeah, I think the exact stat is he's now 3-16 on a 3-16 skid against teams.
That's
with
not a
winning
skid.
records.
That's a resume.
Yeah, that's
who you are.
That's not even a trend. That's who you are. Yeah.
That is not a skid. You can't beat good teams at the end. We know we're getting that interception, and we know to fear Herbert those last 50 seconds. We know to fear Herbert those last 50 seconds. Why do we know that? He doesn't have a bunch of playoff victories.
He's got none.
I would argue we don't know we're getting that interception at the end. I have never seen the play where there's no timeouts left and you have to go the full length of the field to get a touchdown. Usually you just throw it and then it's just a bunch of laterals. He intercepted the easy pass. I've never seen that pass intercepted before.
The defense usually concedes. All right, there's got to be some silliness here.
There's just one linebacker there. Like, I'm going to go stand near the guy they're going to throw to. And he just throws it right to the linebacker.
Yeah, we're going to establish that you can catch this easy one, and then you do your circus play.
There's 9 guys down the field.
That's a great point by Chris.
I've never seen that.
You never see that.
The Chargers,
the pick six?
The prevent pick, you don't see it.
But the Chargers did go to the huddle before that play, and they just all go, "Hi, Jinx," right? Like,
That's right. We're going to do the thing.
And the one guy's like, I'm going to go cover the guy. Don't worry about me. And then he almost pick six it.
But we
Don't
know
over pursue.
In Tua's meager defense, how many
There's
of
been
those?
a lot of meager Tua defense.
Okay,
here.
this is a meager one. Of those 1-16 against winning teams, how many game-winning drives has he almost had? Right? Because it feels like there's been a lot of almost game-winning drives. He leads the league in almost game-winning drives. And then the defense lets it up, and you're like, oh, Tua had the moment. He has 7 of those, and then it's just not there.
I love Jalen Phillips. I love his story. He's such a nice man.
How do you miss that?
Right now in sports, to me, locally, he's almost gotten 14 sacks this year. He's almost
Look at this.
caused
That's a gain of 40 yards right there.
The only problem with that is that I don't think that people realize that Justin Herbert is kind of bigger than
He's a gigantic.
He's almost bigger than Jalen Phillips.
Yeah. Justin Herbert is
I don't
a
think people
gigantic
know
person.
that. I think they just see I think they just see Jalen Phillips miss tackle and they don't understand that Herbert's bigger than Jalen Phillips. Isn't Herbert like 6'6", 260?
He's a giant person.
Tua has
Might be
never
245,
and will never make that play. Right? Like it's that simple, right? The entire conversation can be distilled down to this, which is that Justin Herbert is physically capable and mentally capable of switching hands with that football, avoiding the sack, making the throw that leads to the huge gain to win.
To a guy named Lad McConkey.
And we can say
that guy's
all
good.
we want.
He's good.
Hey,
Good.
that
He
guy's got a
shouldn't-
shot.
He's really good.
He shouldn't be that
He's
good.
got a shot at white
Shouldn't have that
history.
name.
He shouldn't be good with that name. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. In games of violence, do you ever fear someone named Lad McConkey?
How is a
Great name.
Lad McConkey fast?
He should be the mayor of Key West.
That's another. Put it on the poll at Le Batard Show. Should Lad McConkey be the name of the mayor of Key West? It doesn't make sense. I mean, they target him 10 times a game. Like I'd prefer to throw the ball to Keenan Allen, but it's because you guys do realize how insane that juke was, right? You guys realize that there aren't that many players in the league who could actually break free in the open field when all the DBs in that huddle have been told, hey, hijinks.
Yeah. Prevent pick. You never see it. I want to talk about Stephen Ross's reaction on the field because he knows that the cameras are fixated on him, and he almost played up his frustration there. The guy went down on the field to celebrate.
That's the part.
A season-saving victory, and it all unfolded in front of his eyes the way that most people at home thought it would. Most Dolphin fans in that stadium, I kind of felt like knew that was going to happen. And he was visibly frustrated. This image captures it. But after he walked off, he was playing up the fact that he was really pissed off.
Guys, just so you understand that these are human beings, no matter how rich they are. This is the end of his life and career in business and sports. Like his window is what Jerry Jones's window is, and he does care about winning. He doesn't want to be this 25-year embarrassment. I replaced Robbie Huizenga-Shula, and this is an unholy mess on my watch. I'm making tons and tons of money. It's been a great business deal, but most people think I don't care, don't know what I'm doing. I always hire clowns. They always embarrass me. That yesterday, in every way, was an apocalypse that comes after the 4 before it for people who care, don't want to be embarrassment. Mike McDaniel will rebound somewhere as an offensive coordinator, but he doesn't want to be known as somebody who can't handle this job. Tua doesn't want to be known as someone who was gifted $250 million by a coach who made him a marionette who can play and lead the league in passing back when we believed the Dolphins were good. Now the whole thing is falling apart, like in a way that's super obvious and super embarrassing. And your quarterback in the press conference says, not me. It's leadership. Like, that can mean anything.
Well, he's one of the leaders.
No, but it's not. He's one of
Baffling.
the leaders. Like, you can't say it's a players-only meeting and it's leadership. And when you said leadership the first time, we thought you were going to take out your coach.
Leaders don't look around for other leaders. Yeah. He's not the leader that the team named him to be if he's around a microphone openly questioning leadership.
Team's missing Tyreek Hill. When he was a captain, a lot of this stuff wasn't going on, to be honest.
funny.
That's why we said before, hey, if he was a real leader, he wouldn't be a captain this year. And look, not a captain. And as soon as he's out of there, everything seems to be falling apart.
I think I'm the only one here, apparently, who does not blame and, in fact, credits Tua for speaking out like he did. It was the frustration speaking. if his team doesn't blow that win that he had earned with an 8-for-8 drive, he's not saying any of that in the post game. That was frustration speaking. And if he's right, if there were teammates who were late for the players only meeting and just blew it off and missed that meeting, why shouldn't they be called out? Why shouldn't the player who missed that meeting be angry right now because he's looking in the mirror going, you're right, I did miss that meeting. Should have been there.
But do you think that now those players, after Tua has publicly called them out, are like, you know what, I need to prove something to Tua? Because, like, Tua took out both the leadership, so we're thinking maybe coaching staff, maybe, front office, whatever. He took out them, and he took out the players. So he's really kind of taking everyone out but himself when he's having that conversation. And you're saying, had they not blown that lead, he probably wouldn't have said that? Yeah, he probably wouldn't have, which is why it looks even more like an excuse.
It's desperation. That's all it is. They're 1-5. They're going nowhere. They just had a heartbreaking. Think of the last two games. They blow a 17-0 lead against bad Carolina,
who, Dan, ended their season after a victory.
It's still over.
Even though they have back-to-back.
It's still over. Did you see what Baker did? They can't win that division. There's not a circumstance under which they'll win that division. If they don't win that division, their season's over.
Rattler looks good, too.
And on the Tua front, too,
you.
like, I mean, not that anyone would because they're all professionals, but, like, once you start calling out your teammates and all of a sudden I miss a block, you know what I mean? And then, like, he could easily get drilled because he pisses off the wrong person, and then we're back in concussion territory. Like, I don't really understand what he gains from what he did.
Well, if I can, what I would say to you is when you're asking a leader to be a leader in the hardest of positions, which is it's everyone for themselves now. Who's to blame for this? Everyone's going. Everyone's embarrassed. Everyone's laughing at us. Who's to blame? Generally in these spots, the quarterback just eats it. Toughs his way through the headlines of, I'll lie to your face, my protection has to be of my players. But this is why this is happening. I'm just going to read this to you because these are stats for why all of this is happening. The Dolphins are now 1-15 in their last 16 games against teams with winning records. Mike McDaniel is 11-18 in his past 29 games. Tua, like Billy said, 6-17 all time in the 23 games against teams with winning records. The Dolphins haven't topped 30 points in any of their past 13 Tua games against winning teams. They're 2-11 in those games. So that's one set of stats. Now here's the other. The Dolphins were 19-5 coming into this season when scoring 3 touchdowns in the McDaniel era. They're now 1-4 this season when scoring 3 touchdowns. They need to score 4 touchdowns a game and be the best team of all time to beat Lamar Jackson in Baltimore and win a game on a miracle, because unless they have the best offense in the league, the whole thing is broken. Like, none of it works. You don't have value at quarterback anymore. You don't have the fast wide receiver anymore. You're going to use up Waddle and whatever's left of Waller, so the whole thing's broken if you're not a perfect offense. It's because the defense will allow any running back in the world to have 200 yards. Like, any running back in the world you can put back there. I bet on the wrong one yesterday, knowing the Chargers were going to have 200 yards. I thought Haddock was the starter. I didn't know.
Haskins.
Whatever.